is a binary search? What is a sequential search? Why binary search is faster than sequential search? What is a big O notation? So that kind of question. And secondly, on Java collection side, so they'll ask about a basic questions like in what scenario you'll use list, in what scenario you'll use set. So that kind of questions, and some analytic questions like, let's say, some reasoning based questions. If something happen, what will be the output? So that kind of question. So if you are so it's up to you. If you're targeting for service based companies, you are, if you are done with this left side bullet points, you should able to crack the technical interview. But if the company is product based, when I say product based, they have their own uh, uh, product. Like, let's say Zoho is a product company, Freshworks, there are a couple of Genesis, so this kind of Honeywell. So these are the product based companies, and they pay much higher than service based company. Till now, am I clear, or do you have any questions? Silence. So shall I assume like I am clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So okay, then let me ask a basic question. I guess many of you know what is an encapsulation, right? Then encapsulation. Anyone? Anyone?
Sir, action of enclosing something.
Okay, partially true. Next, please. Okay, if I ask you what encapsulation is, I mean, I guess 80% of most of the guys, what they will tell, binding of data and the and wrapping of the data and the methods or the functions is they called as encapsulation. Am I correct? So here, I hope my skin is visible, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, great. So here I have a class called person, and I have two private variable. One is let's say list of strings, name list, and private int age. So here what I'll do, I will have getter setters. Now tell me, is this encapsulation? Anyone? Whatever I wrote here, is this encapsulation? I mean, and just tell it. I mean, there's nothing wrong and nothing right.
Hello.
Okay, so let me explain this. So this is, I mean, most of the people they will say this is kind of encapsulation because we are encapsulating the variable with some list and integer, and we have getter setters. So ideally, this is not full encapsulation. When I say that, what does that mean? So this is a class person. I have a name list, and this list I have a getter method. If you say get name list, so what I can do from a different class, what I'll do is I can have person object dot get name list. I can write, right. Let him check whether I can do it here. Get name list I can do, right. Then what I'll do, I'll have a dot add method. Let's say hello. So here it is violating the encapsulation, which means that you are able to access the method or the member of that class and you are trying to modify here. That means here I have defined the name list using getter method. I am getting that list, and from a different class someone else is trying to add a variable called hello. So this is violating the encapsulation. So that means something is wrong in this code. So encapsulation means you should not have exposed this list to the outside world. Instead, what you can do here, let remove all. Let's say public void. Let's say I want to add something, add name. Final string of s. Here what should I do is dot add of s. Now the difference is, now if you see there's a difference, right. From here I cannot get the list at any cost. I don't have any choice. So what I have to do, dot add name of, let's say hello. Now what we'll do, in this class I have the list, but I am not exposing that list to outside world. The reason being, let's say there are two programmers working on the same list, and one is trying to add, and at the same time one thread is trying to remove. That time there's some issue might arise. So because of that reason, what there's a coding standard, like you should not expose your member of private members or the attributes outside this class. So this is now in encapsulated. And name, you can have remove name, you can have get list. When you return a list, remember always return immutable list so that no one can add to that. You know what is immutable? Which can't be changed. So up to this, am I clear? Do you have any questions? If you are clear on this concept, like then you are good to go. I mean, you can clear the interviews easily. Any questions on this?
Be interactive, ma. Actually, they didn't study this functions and all. They are seeing constructors.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay, so they may not be understanding.
Okay, 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 ma'am, fine then. So okay, then fine. So let's move to the next is inheritance. Inheritance is like as I mean that is a theoretical definition, like uh, inheriting some parent properties to the child class. The main use case is reusing of the code, reusing of some properties. So there are multiple inheritance like you can say a single and hybrid, and mostly in today's world maximum they will allow you have to have a single level, not more than that. And polymorphism, some keywords like static. What is static in nature? Can anyone tell me why main method is static? If you see this program, this main method is static. Anyone?
Respond it, ma. 100 people are here.
Just ping it in chat. I mean, if you don't want to speak, ping it in chat. I mean, why the main method is static? This can be a non-static. Like this, I can write.
To
There's no
replace
error.
object.
Okay.
To replace object.
Okay.
If we didn't include static, but we have to இப்போ நம்ம static include பண்ணல, இப்போ நம்ம object include பண்ணோம். So object include இப்போ நம்ம static include பண்ண object include பண்ண வேணாம்.
Okay, but can you run a main method without static method? I mean, without declaring static.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. No, it's fine. Completely fine. No worries. So the reason in main method is static is there is a concept behind static. So static means if a method or a variable is defined as static, so what will happen is, let me give a live example. So here public static, let's say string, let's say I'm giving it a hello. Sorry. Now what will happen is, I here to access this method I have to create an object. But if that method is static, so what I'll do, I can access that variable without using or without creating the object, right? So from this, the reason being the main method is static is, so this method will be called by whom? JVM. And JVM is not in this program. JVM is on top of the OS. So from there, when JVM try to execute a class called solution1 and inside a method called main method, so always the Java program start from main method. So when the JVM tried to run the main method and it did not able to find a static method, so that time it will throw an error, main method is not static or main method not found. So the thumb rule is, since the JVM is outside your program, it is sitting somewhere in the system, when it's trying to access this method, so before creating an object, how do you run the program? That's why if the main method is static, so what JVM will do, it will call the solution1. Okay, this is the class I have to run. And what is the main method? This is the main method. It is static. So what it will do, it will call solution1 dot main without creating the object like this, how it is being called. Understood? Or do you have any questions? Is it clear now? Hello? Is it clear now, or do you have still some doubt or questions? No answers. Shall I assume like you're clear or you have still some doubt? Yes or no? Okay. So silence means let's take as positive. I guess you are clear. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. So static and final. Final, that is some kind of keyword like final is used to define a constant in Java. And if you talk about interface design, so they'll not ask about this interface design, but they'll ask what is an interface and what is the use. So that kind of what is what they'll ask. And in a class, mostly you'll not face this question, but some companies they do ask about the inner classes. And regarding data structure and algorithm, I guess if you are good at some kind of sortings or searching algorithm, you should crack the interview. And collection only have some map, set, list, these three. And in what scenario you'll use, and the basic internal function, how it works. So that kind of question, if you're good at all these three, all the bullet points, that means you can clear any technical interview, I would say. But again, the questions will vary from one company to another. But these are the most common topics that might come. I'll go for next slide. So now in today's industry, they are moving from monolithic to microservice architecture. Let me brief about what is an monolithic application. So an monolithic application, have you ever an application which has a single bundle? I would say, I mean, if you go back 10 years back, if you hit any website, if something is down, it will say server not reachable. It will say 404 or some error. Have you faced this kind of error while accessing any of the website in the past? Any government website, any private website? So monolithic, like let's say I am taking an example of let's say what Swiggy. How many of are you using Swiggy? I guess most of the people, right? So if you take an example of Swiggy example, if in monolithic application, what they would have done is they'll package everything into a single application, like a single jar or single WAR file. The payment gateway, the user profile, the ordering food, the number of restaurant, everything they'll add, and that they'll bundle into a single jar or WAR file. So that approach is called monolithic approach. In this approach, what is the problem the industry faces? Let's say there is something error or some error in some of the features. Let's say user database is not able to update the user details. In that case, the whole application will crash, and the person who is trying to order a food, they'll not able to access the application. So it's like total blocking of the whole application for a minor issue or for an other feature. So next is microservice architecture. So what does it do? So what they thought is, let's not bundle everything into a single component. Instead, let's have a different component for different features. Let's say user profile can be an independent service, and ordering is a different service, payment is a different service, and let's say blah blah blah. So like this it will continue. So both services are independent of each other. They will only talk via a common message broker. In detail, I'll not tell. I'll tell like all are independent service. They are acting as a common web interface. So there, the plus point is, let's say user service is down, only that service will get impacted. Let's say I am trying to update my phone number, or I am trying to update the username now. So only I will not able to perform that particular piece of task. But if you guys or someone else is trying to order a food, order a restaurant, see my order history, so that service will not get impacted, because the duties or the responsibilities are segregated here. So that's how the industry has moved from monolithic to microservice. Although in microservice application, there are some challenges like how to maintain the message, how to debug in case of an issue. So, but compared to the number of benefits, these are very less. So they have migrated to microservice. Now, in order to do that, now industries thought like, why don't we use the cloud? What is a cloud? I mean, how many people have heard the word cloud? I guess most of the people now, I guess, since you are BSc second year student. Have you heard the word cloud? Okay, let me explain. So if you see in some, even when I was a student, like so we face some issue. The same program or the same application will run on one machine, and in the same program, if I'll copy and paste it to some other machine, let's say Linux or something like that, or then I used to find some issue. So people used to say, this is working in my system, why not in that system? So blah blah blah. So to avoid that, why that industry come up with a solution called cloud services. So cloud means the server is somewhere else in the world, you don't know, but they are providing infrastructure as a service. So you no need to do anything. You have to configure, hey, give me a 500 MB of RAM I need Linux or Windows, I need this OS, click. Now that's a cloud service provider, let's say AWS or Azure for Windows or Google for Google Cloud. So what they'll do, they will create a server virtually in their somewhere, we don't know, and they will give the details to us like IP address, so what is the machine ID. Now once the machine is provisioned, now it's up to us how to load into that machine. So that's where cloud is coming to picture. I mean, the managing of the infrastructure and patch request in case of any security vulnerabilities. So that part the cloud vendor is taking care. We just have to worry about, okay, this is my code, I have to run, and the code should run without any service down. So that's why the cloud services are now in more demand. To deploy the cloud services, there are a couple of use cases, like you can go for Docker, Kubernetes. There are so many ways to do that. So Dockerize means that what you do, you create your program, you after you create, test it locally, it is working fine. So Docker is a tool which will give you a bundle. So the program, what is the necessary libraries in it? So what they'll do, they'll wrap it up into a single Docker command. Now the Docker or the virtual machine, I would say, that you can run it anywhere in any machine. So that's where the cloud computing comes into play. So any questions on this, like what is an monolithic application and what is a microservice, why we need microservice, and what is the use of the cloud service? Any questions on this slide? Okay, then I guess next move to next slide. So what does the industry expect from you guys? So the industry, I mean, as a fresher, they don't expect much. They expect like you have a good communication skill, not good, I mean you are able to communicate properly, and the second bullet is knowledge beyond the textbook. I mean, there is some guy who used to just mug off the definition and go and tell to the interviewer, but they will easily catch that out. This guy is mugging up, or this has some actual practical knowledge. So always try to think out of box and don't give a bookish example. So that's the one thing. And ability to lead, always try to do something extra and always try to be leader. And next one is positive approach. They will check whether that guy or the girl is a negative approach or positive, I mean how to approach a problem. They'll check that. And the updated with latest in technology, I mean they'll ask like brief, what is the latest trend in technology. I mean not in detail, but you should have know the terms cloud, microservice, Docker, so that kind of concept. And they'll check the confidence level. So if you're knowing everything, I mean you're a good tech guy, but if your confidence is low, then the interviewer will think twice. But if you know something, project it confidently, then you are hired. And always try to be a proper attitude. I mean always try to be dedicated and self-motivated. And the self-motivated means there should not be anyone who used to push you, do this, do that, you should do like this, you should do like that. That feeling you should get it from your side. Why not I try something different? So that is self-motivated. So these are the industry expectations from a fresher. And on terms of resume, these are the I just pointed out some of the very minor stuffs, like provide a list of skill upfront. If you don't know, it's very fine, don't include that in the resume. And always try to be short and sweet. Try to describe what you're trying to do, short and sweet. And always use try in bullet points, not like a historical paragraph, because the interviewer will not have time to read all the stops. And the most important thing is don't blabber, don't lie. If you don't know, no sir, I don't know. They'll never ask you why you don't know. But if you try to blabber or argue, they will try to question you more. Be honest. This is what I know, this is what my answer is. And the resume, I mean from the industry, from a fresher, it should not be more than 2 pages of the resume. 1 page is now the trend is 1 page resume. Even if you are having a 5th and 6th year of experience, the guys are coming with a 1 page resume. And the list goes on, but these are the, I mean, important bullet points that I came up with. Any questions on this? Okay, fine. Now next one is there's some tips. I came up with 4 to 5 number of bullet points. Always strike whenever you have asked or you are asked a questions, or someone is asking a question, first try to listen it carefully. What is the question is, then with confidence tell this is what it is. If you don't know, honestly you don't know. And the confidence only come if you have practiced that. The second would be, I would say, like always remember whatever there in the resume, they'll ask on that only. If you don't know, let's say MySQL, don't add any database. It's fine. It's completely fine. And if you know something, definitely mention that I know on this. Okay, so the common question will be, they would ask about some project or internship that you have did, and make sure that you are explaining them in brief, short and sweet, and what you have done in that project. What is your role? And before going for any interview, always try to get some info about the company or the position. Let's say once you have cleared the the technical round, mostly in the HR round, they'll ask like why you want to join, let's say XYZ company. Then to answer that question, it's better to do some groundwork, like, okay, not much. This XYZ company is this, and according to my capabilities, I guess I can fit in that position, like that. So these are the tips I have. And with that, I will open the floor for question and answer. Any questions from you? I mean, on any topic, how to prepare? Let me check. Any question on chat? No, there's no question on chat. Any questions, guys? I mean, from your syllabus or how to prepare? Oh, okay. So the last but not the least, always try to do some aptitude test, basic aptitude, like online test or something. There's some website called indiabigs.com, and there's so many website. So try to do it fast and in scaled process. Like, it's okay, you can be at last on the selection list, but you should go through. That's the point. You don't need to be on the top. Don't try that. And in some companies, they'll have negative marking as well. So before answering a question, and try to be sure or confident that okay, my answer is correct. If you are doubt on that, please leave it if there is a negative marking. So first will be like your aptitude test. I guess most of the companies will do, to make sure that okay, you are logically or analytic skill is fine. Just try to go through, I mean, the websites, and try to get into the selection list. I mean, let's say there are 100 people selected, maybe your serial is 100 but you went in. That's the concept. You don't need to be on top. Yes, guys, I will open the floor for any questions. Shall I assume like you don't have any questions, or you have understood everything, or you don't understand anything? There'll be two possibilities. Hello.
It's over.
Yeah, ma'am. It's over. I guess I asked a couple of. I mean, I was expecting some questions from the guys, but it looks like they have understood fully, or they have not understood anything.
Okay.
I think someone raised the hand. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, you can unmute and talk, ma. Whoever has a question, you can unmute and talk. See, this is a good opportunity for you. We have arranged the industry person to directly come and talk to you. So whatever doubt you have, you can ask from and get the knowledge input from him. Otherwise, if you don't want to ask question, then we are helpless. So maybe some, I mean, some of you may have interested in coding and you want to go in coding. So whether you want to like, I mean, which language you have to concentrate. Okay, like this you can ask her what kind of additional certification course you have to do apart from the curriculum subject. Those questions you can ask. Anybody has posted in chat box? No. If you are like this, it's very difficult to survive in this world, ma. Okay, if there is no question, we will wind up Santanu with the vote of thanks.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, now one check. So now I call upon Mr. Siva, sir, okay, to give the vote of thanks for this session.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Good evening, one and all present here. It is a matter of pride for me that I am proposing vote of thanks for this meeting on behalf of Department of Computer Science, SRM IST Ramapuram campus. I express our heartfelt thanks to our resource person, Mr. Santanu Kumar Mogandi, Senior Software Engineer, HID India Private Limited, for wonderful limelight session today. And in spite of his busy schedule, he accepted our request to grace the occasion. Thank you, sir. I extend a sincere thanks to management for encouraging us to conduct the online webinar. And also I express our sincere thanks to our respected Dean, SNH, SRM IST, for his dynamic support, guidance, valuable advice to this program. And also extend our special thanks to our respected Vice Principal, Academic and Admin, for his regular support and encouragement for this program. And also extend our special thanks to our respected HOD, Dr. S. Umarani, for her support and encouragement for this program. So last but not least, I express our grateful thanks to the students and faculty members for this wonderful webinar. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, students. Santanu, we will close the meeting. Thank you, Santanu, for accepting our invitation and taking the session.
No problem, ma'am. It's my pleasure.
Okay. Okay. Shall I close the
Thanks.
meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
all.
joining.
Thank you, sir.